Okay, y'all, I am back again for another video. I'm back on this exercise bike, so let's go. This video is going to be about stop them from insulting you. And what I mean by that is stop them from insulting you. And this is primarily gonna go for people that you choose as an empathic person. If you choose to keep this person in your life and they choose to be in your life, whether it be over the phone, in person, an acquaintance, stop them from insulting you. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of what I mean by this. One of the issues when you learn what a narcissist is, when you learn what a psychopath is, you will be questioned. How is he or she so good at giving out this information? How can the advanced insight lady have a channel and know so much about narcissism? Is she one? Is he one that's doing his channel over here? What are they? Are they the narcissists? So this is what you got to stop. You got to stop the insults. And these are how the insults come through. You're having a discussion. This psychopath threatened me. You had a bad marriage. You knew this man or woman from childhood. Remember, narcissists wear masks, y'all. So the person they appear to you at first is not the true nature of that person. When you meet that boy or that girl in high school and they wear that mask, like they're loving, charming, and they have that smile, you don't know years later that's going to be the same man or woman that's going to be cheating on you or beating you, harassing your family, cussing your mother and father out. You don't know this. Narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths, they're good at wearing masks. So who they really are is always covered up. So in turn, if you're saying, okay, well, this psychopath threatened me, this, and that, and you say, and you make this statement, this is one statement I have never been afraid to make about anyone, and this is the statement. The statement is this. It's this statement right here. They don't love me. That's one of the hardest statements for a lot of empathic people to make. And that is what drives them to stay so long. As an empathic person, I've stayed a long time too. I didn't just stay in my marriage one day and get out. I hung around there because you're waiting for the person to love you. You're waiting for the person to change. You're waiting for that special date night on that Friday that never comes. You're waiting on them to stop cheating on you. You're waiting on them to stop abusing you. So what happens is through conversations, and a lot of times you got to remember this, y'all, some of your friends and family, they come from different generations. So they may come from a generation or they may come from a dynamic where they take a lot of bullshit off people. So looking in the window in your life, it seems like you go in no contact with a lot of people. It seemed like you got 2 to 3 people within 6 months threatening you and harassing you. And that's going to come because you're removing the supply from people. Also, the psychopaths and narcissists during times like funerals. This was when all this went on. I mean, somebody getting ready to die is sudden, y'all. So just like I did that playlist, the narcissists and funerals. So when you're talking to your close friends, brothers and sisters, and I don't mean they have to be your biological brothers and sisters, there's this judgment that comes. Or questions, not just a judgment. And a question that came across my path during a phone conversation was, did you love them? Because I made the statement that these 2 particular people, one in high school, one I married, they just didn't love me. It's just the bottom line. Nobody that ever loved you, I'm talking about real love, For real love, one of the things they don't do is withhold your loved ones from you. But what happens over time, narcissists know this. There's this movie, I'm going to give you a perfect example. The movie, The Secret Life of the Bees. Queen Latifah played in that movie. And in the movie, I'm just going to kind of go off a little memory. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but it's one of my favorite movies because the little girl, she shot her dad. Her dad was abusing her mom. And in the middle of a violent fight they were having, the little girl, which is the child of this man and woman that was fighting, her intention was to shoot her father. But she shot her mother on accident. She was trying to get her father to stop abusing her mother. And so her mother died from the gunshot wound. And the father had to take care of his daughter because, of course, mom's dead. But the mom had also left him and abandoned him. I mean, she was going through so much domestic violence before she got shot. I think she came back to get her things. It's been so long since I've seen this movie, y'all. I'm just going to kind of go off what I can remember. Some of it may not be perfect. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies, but I haven't seen it in a long time. So I think what happened was he was abusing her so bad she left. I remember the part where she got on the train and she left. That was, she left her daughter too. It's not that she didn't love her daughter. It's just that she had a nervous mental breakdown. So I think what happened was she came back for her things, or she came back for her daughter. No, I think that's what it was. She came back for her daughter. That's what it was. It wasn't just her things. She left, took a cool off, got out of that abuse, went no contact. She comes back to get her little girl. And I'm going to tell you why I remember this so well. So when she came back to get her little girl, this big fight broke out from the abuser, which was her husband and her daughter's father. And this fight got pretty violent. I mean, he could have potentially killed her, killed his wife on purpose, and the mother of his child. He could have killed her on purpose or on accident because he was also a drinker and he just lost his temper. So ultimately, the little girl, which ended up being a little cute, pretty little girl that Queen Latifah kind of took under her wing and stuff and helped out. And I think there was like, I'm not sure about that part. So anyway, so she shot her dad. No, she shot her mom, meaning to shoot her dad. The bullet was for her dad, but it hit her mom and it killed her mom. So I apologize for that. So in turn, okay, mom passed away and she ends up having to be finished being raised by her father. And of course, I mean, he has a grudge because at the end of the day, he knew that bullet was for his ass. He just did. Come on now. So this man's belligerent, abusive, narcissistic, and he got a grudge. So throughout the years, as he raised his daughter, they're getting into it on and off. They have this troubled relationship. And one day, they're having this confrontation, and she's trying to get to the root of her dad's anger because it was something else bothering him that his daughter could not get in touch with, because it almost kind of seemed as if, okay, he got over the fact and he understood that bullet was for him instead of her mother. But it was something that bothered him really, really bad. And she finally found out what it was because he finally said it. And this part touched my soul. And this was one of the, if I look back at what he said, I might not say he's necessarily a psychopath, because what he said brought complete accountability for the emotion he was feeling. And this is what he said in so many words, y'all. This is going to really touch you, what he said. Why he was really mad with her mother and was fighting with her that day and all of that. What is the root of his anger? It's not just that the bullet, he knew it was for him all the time. Guess what the root of his anger was? Listen, check it out. I'm getting ready to tell you what it was. The root of his anger, y'all, was that when she came back, his wife and the mother of his little girl came back. She came back for her daughter. Guess what he said? She didn't come back for me. He was talking about himself. What hurt me is that your mother didn't come back for me. And that right there is the root to why they don't let you see your grandkids and your kids. That is so real what he said in The Secret Life of the Bees. Remember that. That movie taught me something, even about my own situation. Your mother didn't come back for me. Your father didn't come back for me. She came back for what was worth coming back for. And it's never the abuser, whether they're male or female. She came back for her little girl, y'all. You understand that? And that is what goes on in these situations. Even with the situation that I'm dealing with right now, with the loss of a relative. That man knows. I've known that man since high school. That man knows I don't want him. Even my cousin that I was talking to, she's female. She said the same thing. That's the root of his anger. That's why they be like, no, you can't talk to your grandkids, because that puts the psychopath and narcissist in pain. Remember that. Watch that movie, The Secret Life of the Bees, and that will pierce your soul. Because by me being empathic throughout the movie, I'll never forget that movie, because I just absolutely love Queen Latifah. That's my girl. And that little girl was so adorable. But that movie pierced my soul, because as an empathic person, in the movie, when he finally said what was at the root of his pain and what was paining his soul, because it seemed like everything else he had got beyond it. I mean, he didn't put his little girl in foster care. He took accountability. He continued to raise her, because at the same time, he knew that it was really his fault that he ended up being a single dad. He knew that that was his fault. In no way did he really truly continue. I mean, he blamed her mom for the relationship, but as the little girl grew up, she was basically, she remembered, she had memories. So she defended her mother on many of occasions to him, because now the mom is gone. She's passed away because the bullet hit the mom. I mean, she's a little girl. She don't know how to shoot. She hasn't been to like no shooting range or nothing like that. So when he said what pained his soul and what really hurt him the most, your mother didn't come back for me, referring to himself. As an empathetic person, I'm not going to lie. I felt something for the man. I'm like, oh, he's hurt. And that's the root of it. So in this particular conversation, when I say stop them from insulting you, the sister asked me, she said, well, did you love these particular people? Referring to one person that even went back to high school, my first love. Okay. And I said, don't insult me. The sister was like, oh, I don't mean to insult you. Well, you are. Because see, you got to be careful with questions, because if I didn't love them, one of them I knew even before I met my first love. So the man I ended up married to, I knew him since I was a little girl. But my first love, I met him as a teenager. So for someone, whether it be a brother or sister, to ask me, did I love them? Of course. What I feel now and the love that I don't have for these gentlemen now has nothing to do with what I did feel. I had to have loved them. That's why I married one of them. I stayed in his life for many years before I recognized that this wasn't the proper situation. And I myself became angry about just being with that man because I knew it wasn't right. I knew that man didn't care about me. Not in the real sense of the word. And how you will know that is if you've ever been properly loved. Have you ever had somebody in your life, you know they love you by the way they talk to you, the way they treat you, the consistency. Even if, they discipline you, they stopped you from stealing things when you were little and things like that. That's love too. Don't nobody love you and they keep letting you do what you want to do. So that's the thing with narcissists. When you recognize that they don't love you and you're able to express that, which is, I've never heard this particular sister that I can recall say anything like that. That may be something that she struggles with. Okay, this particular man I was married to came onto one of my family members that was a borderline minor at the time. It may be hard for this sister to say that man don't love me. Because see, she's the type of sister, she always tries to find the good in people. And see, that can be a flaw when it comes to no contact. It's a good thing if you're trying to keep contact with people. And that's something I use with this sister. I mean, it's been times where me and this sister, we weren't on speaking terms, but this is something I use with her. I give her that good, dharma back to her by doing that with her. I look at her good. Because if I only looked at the things that offended me, I wouldn't even talk to this sister. Because like I said, that question was an insult. Because for you to even question if I love these narcissists and psychopaths, that means that if I didn't love them genuinely, that means that I'm a narcissist and they were just supplied for me. And I don't move like that. Even when I answer the sister's phone call, I can't even really answer your call for real if I don't care nothing about you. So the basis of how I move in life when I deal with close relationships with anyone is based on the feeling that I'm able to feel from an empathetic point of view. And I also have compassionate empathy, sympathy, being able to feel empathy. Compassion is part of empathy too. I have to feel that emotion in order to even raise my children. If I'm not able to feel compassion and empathy and feel love come up through my soul, I could have never got with my high school sweetheart. I would have never married that man. It was all from a basis of love. Now, did I get it back? What I felt for these particular relationships, did it come back? No. At the end, I got hate back. Still to this day, I got relatives that I cannot see and talk to. The high school narcissist and psychopath, he will have brainwashed these minors. By the time they 20 years old, they gonna be just as messed up as the other minors with the ex-husband. And see, that is the karma that comes to me from not understanding soon enough what a psychopath even is. However, I don't lose no sleep at night because at the end of the day, ain't none of them in my house. And sometimes it's a blessing not to even have the minors around. Go to my playlist and look at the playlist with Taz and Jazz. I think I called it Taz and Jazz and their beautiful mother or something like that. Look at what them twin girls did to their mama. Slaughtered that woman, drowned her. They got to do 30 to 35 years in prison. Them girls did that when they was like, 16 years old to their mama? Come on now. Think about it. And you got to stop them from insulting you. That was an insult. Sometimes these questions, and this particular sister, I love her. She has empathy, but sometimes she got that narcissistic energy that comes out. Sometimes she's just curious. But see, you got to be careful before you ask empath stuff, because what you're not going to do is assassinate my character, because everything I do is from a loving point of view. And sometimes when people ask y'all questions like that, it's also showing that they may not be grateful for you. Or they recognizing that when I take your call at midnight, it's because I love you. It's because I care for you, ma'am. It's because I care for you, sister. And this is how I feel about this sister. Sometimes I'll wake up, at night just to check on her or whatever, but it's all from love. So when somebody asks you, did you love them? And that was your man or that was your woman, and they question it. I mean, you for sure, these males and females didn't love y'all. But for you to be questioned as an empathic person, did you love them? Hell yeah, too much. That's why you in this situation. You loved them too much. That's why you had children with them. And you didn't go by and stop down at the nearest abortion clinic because you loved them. Not only did you love these men and women that you were with, you loved the child when it was in your womb. But a lot of times you're not going to get it back because the children will have the psychopathy of the parents. They will develop the cold spirit of the parents. And that's the consequence. You can fight for them in court. You can do all of that. And the narcissists, they live in a delusion. They don't really have no soul and feeling for these kids. Like, as an empathetic person, if your mama or your daddy alive, I feel kind of bad for you that you're not in contact with your mama and daddy. That kind of like hurts my soul. But see, psychopaths, when they raising these kids and they got your grandkids, because your kids have passed away, your adult children have passed away, teenage children, when they got your grandkids and they got your children and they got your nieces and nephews and little cousins and stuff like that, they don't feel bad that those children are not in contact with you. And another thing, and let me rephrase this, another reason they do it in the energy of the demonic forces, that's the devil's way of not wanting them to know about the Lord in the way that they should. And so I've always understood that too, like from a spiritual perspective, just being honest to God. And I don't have to be in nobody's house to know this part about you, right? I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you the truth. And remember this, when psychopaths do this type of stuff, they are not praying men and women. I can't wake up and pray 2 to 5 times a day. Just say at a minimum, you're praying at least twice a day. One prayer ain't enough. At least 2 to 5 times a day. And you can always pray more. A person that was empathic, and I know that you want to talk to your grandkids or your kids, and I'm a praying person, and I know you really want to be in their life, I can't stop you from talking to them. See, because I'm prayed up, I'm praying. But see, that's another thing. Most psychopaths, their ritual during the day, they might thank the Lord every blue moon when they get a big bank deposit and stuff like that. But I promise you, they're not consistent prayers. What they are consistently doing is turning up the bottle. lighting up the weed. That's their prayer 2 to 5 times a day. While you praying 2 to 5 times a day, they smoking that blunt 2 to 5 times a day, 10 to 20 times a day. They hitting that weed, y'all. They turning up that liquor. They putting them shots in. Prayer is not on the agenda. They might pray if they, drink too much liquor and they have a stomach ache and they end up in the hospital. They might thank the Lord that they released from the hospital. So just keep that in mind. This is also the people's problem that are psychopaths and narcissists and sociopaths. Their prayer life, the way they take care of their individual bodies, their criminal activities, all of this will be a problem. And you got to stop people from insulting you, especially if you plan on continuing to have a relationship with people. And I told the sister, I said, don't insult me like that. What do you mean, did I love them? And don't judge what you see in me do now, which is the logical and rational thing to do. I got to use reasoning now. One of the psychopaths from high school, when our relative passed away, he was basically borderline threatening my life. He also let his new supply threaten to beat me down, bash me in my head, all kind of crazy stuff she was saying. So when you get to the point and you don't love them anymore, you don't hate them, you're just indifferent. You don't hate them or you don't love them. When you get to that point where you come to that conclusion, that's not a bad thing. But don't allow somebody to make it seem like you never loved them. Because if you hadn't loved them before, you still love them in a spiritual way now. Because like with the psychopath I went to high school with that was threatening me and all that stuff, I didn't respond. My attorney is aware of it and I talk about it on my videos. I don't know if he listens to my videos. Who knows? But it don't matter to me. He can't stop my freedom of speech. I'm not mentioning this man's name, okay? And that's showing love and care. I could mention his name. He's low down enough to mention his name, but I'm not going to give him any importance. He's not important enough to mention. Who is he? You wouldn't know him. He ain't Kobe Bryant. He ain't nobody. You see what I mean? So why validate that source of energy? So yes, you got to, in a way, you got to stop them from insulting you. Because as a man or woman that's able to love, and your total motivation, you spent all those years with the narcissist. Yeah, they stayed with you because you were a supply source. You were giving them sex, money, housing, a place to live, paying for their education, taking care of kids that wasn't even yours. That's what you were to them. They never loved you. You just were a convenience. I had a relative tell me that. This is just a convenience. Letting me know that what I was providing was just something he or she was using. You understand? So that's how the narcissist is. So for anyone that is contacting you to ask you, did you love them? They're almost putting you in the category of being a narcissist, and you don't deserve that. That's an insult. Yeah, I loved them. That's why I stayed around. Because as an empathic person, I can't be with nobody I don't love. I can't do it. It's not in me to do it. I will sit up alone and single for the next 15 years. If I can't find that man that I love, I gotta love him. I gotta love him. That is just who I am as an empathic person. There's no other way. And you know what I mean. I'm not talking about no love bombing. and what that narcissistic energy does. I'm not talking about that fake wearing a mask love. And I promise you this. I promise you this. They both know I love them. And that's another reason they keep your family from you too. Because it goes back to what the father and the husband said in The Secret Life of the Bees. Remember what he said, y'all. And a woman could have said that exact same thing. Maybe you're a man and you had a woman that was a full-blown narcissist or psychopath and you couldn't figure out why she's so mad with you. Why she having her new boyfriend come shoot at your house, threaten you. What is her problem? Her problem is, gentlemen, you didn't come back for her. The same thing that angered the father in The Secret Life of the Bees. He told his daughter, your mama didn't come back for me. Never forget that. That's their anger. Stop the insults from people that claim they care about you and love you. I've been on this bike almost 32 minutes, y'all. 31 minutes and like 20 seconds. I love y'all so much. Tune in for more. I'm amped up this entire week to do more videos. And I appreciate you for listening. Oh, please click on the bell notification if you're going to subscribe. And that's something I always forget to say, y'all. But if you're going to subscribe, click on the bell so every time I upload a new video, it comes to you. And I appreciate you so much. Never forget this message, okay? Stop them from insulting you. Stop it. You're too good-hearted. You don't deserve it. Because everything you do coming from your soul. You know how to love. You just got to work on picking the right people to love. So that one day you're able to get it back in return. And you're going to meet that person. You're going to meet the right man and woman that's going to love you back. I promise you that. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.